Good morning. This is your Weather Watch. My name is Michelle Nelson. I'm in for Emily Vukovic. Lots to talk about, including that warm up that's on the way once again. Humid with temperatures bumping up into the 30s. A thunderstorm potential. Specifically, we are looking into Alberta for today. We'll show you where coming up. And a weather-based holiday. Yeah, we'll break down those details. Chris Murphy will join us in just a moment. But first to this must-see video. Today, we are watching out for some thunderstorms for northwestern Ontario. In fact, we've seen those throughout the morning hours. That's courtesy of a cold front that is sliding through. But to give you a better idea of that risk area, where we're really keeping a close eye on as we head throughout the afternoon and evening hours, throughout the BC interior, even as far north as Fort St. John, and then just right along the foothills west of the Edmonton region. I know we did see those thunderstorms this weekend, some very heavy rain, Fort McMurray included. Well, we do have that thunderstorm risk more so to the west for today. Now that risk area is going to spread east as we head into tomorrow. We have a lot of energy just south of the border, so we're watching out for some thunderstorms for southern and central Saskatchewan and then into Manitoba as we head into your Wednesday. Speaking of Wednesday, it's going to get hot this week. Temperatures will continue to climb again into the low 30s, feeling warmer than that when we factor in the humidity. Let's head to St. John's, a big holiday tomorrow. Thanks so much, Chris. Yeah, good news there. And let's break down those temperatures for you for your Thursday in St. John's. The day after tomorrow, we're looking at 16 degrees. Really starting to get into that warmth, that heat and humidity once again in Ontario. More so seasonal into the weekend, but we had some stormy conditions and some heavy rain. Let's take a look ahead at your next 7 days. If you are in St. John's, we are watching out for some rain, so something we're keeping a very close eye on. We have our question of the day for you. You can join us on social media. What is your rating? Thumbs up, thumbs down, or thumbs sideways? Most of you are saying thumbs up. Well, as we head into the next little bit, taking a look at that temperature trend in the west, we've seen some unsettled conditions. That's going to dry up in BC really over the next few days, where we're going to see the bulk of that warm air. That's really pushing up from the states, where it's feeling closer to 50 in some areas and making its way east into Ontario over the next few days. Coming up, Chris Murphy has our top 3 videos. But right now, let's break down that forecast. A big warm up is on the way once again for Ontario. 28 in Toronto today. We're looking at 28 in Quebec City, seeing that sunshine. For the most part, that risk for active weather, that stays just to the north, just north of Saguenay, but then east for northern portions of New Brunswick, the Gaspé Peninsula. It doesn't look like you're going to get too much from this, but where we do see those thunderstorms pop up, we could see some locally heavy downpours. Now, we will break down your St. John's forecast. I know tomorrow is the big regatta, the holiday. We'll have that coming up, but also that risk for active weather in northwestern Ontario. Some must-see video right now of the heavy, especially for northern portions. We still have that risk in Alberta for today, but it has shifted a bit more to the west, just along the foothills and north of the Edmonton region. For BC interior, you're still in that risk area. And then by tomorrow, we're going to see that risk area stretch towards the east, but we could see some isolated severe cells pop up. There is that risk for supercell development, more so for southern portions of Alberta, fairly close to the border. By Wednesday, that risk extends to the east. Isolated severe chances there where we could see large hail, heavy winds, heavy rain, and very strong winds, and then some heavy rain as well. Something we're watching out for. We'll break down all those details coming up, but right now, a look at your locals. Well, it's time for a look at that long ranger to find out when we do have that risk for thunderstorms. Today, it is for Alberta. We'll break down those details, but let's get into that temperature trend throughout this week. Seasonal for BC, unsettled today, but clearing by the rest of the week, more sunshine, and then warming up across the eastern prairies in for Ontario. So you're really going to start to feel the heat as we head throughout the next few days. Really by Wednesday, we get that heat and humidity from the south pushing in. In parts of the states, it's feeling more like 50 degrees when we do factor in that humidex. So a lot of that warmer air, that's going to make its way in, courtesy of that warm front pushing in. Temperatures into the high 20s, but it's going to feel into the high 30s. And then by Thursday into Friday, the heat and humidity increases even more. Now, we have had that active weather early this morning in northwestern portions of Ontario. That cold front, that's going to eventually make its way east. By Friday, pushing in for southern and central Ontario, and that's where we have the risk for some storms sparking up right along that cold front as we're dealing with that unstable air mass. Some must-see video. We head to Winnipeg right now. Really, as we head into tomorrow afternoon, that's your next chance in Winnipeg for seeing some thunderstorms. We could see some isolated severe cells pop up, maybe some large hail as well. Thursday, a look at your temperatures, 23 in Edmonton. That risk for seeing some showers, but right now, a look at your locals. Thanks for staying with us on this Tuesday. My name is Michelle Nelson. This is your Weather Watch. We're watching out for some severe weather to set up for today. Hot and humid with temperatures into the 30s, feeling even warmer than that. And a thunderstorm potential will break that down right across the country, keeping a close eye on Alberta for today. And a weather-based holiday, Chris Murphy will have those details just ahead. But right now, let's head to that risk for thunderstorms for today, where we do have more so in the west. So for the BC interior, north to Fort St. John, but then just along the foothills, so west of Edmonton, that risk for seeing some isolated severe weather. What we're dealing with as we head throughout today. Now, we do have this energy that's pushing in. This is courtesy of a system that is sitting stateside, but that makes its way east by Wednesday. So the risk area for southern Saskatchewan and for southern Manitoba, that starts to push in for tomorrow. So Winnipeg, that risk for you tomorrow afternoon. You have seen the rain, though. I mean, we saw those thunderstorms with some very heavy downpours throughout the weekend into yesterday. And then for parts of Alberta, southern portions, that's where we could see the development of that severe weather. Just along the foothills, but also for far southern portions closer to the border, where we could see large hail, strong winds, and some very heavy downpours. The temperatures, those are on the rise again for Ontario. Feeling the heat, that's going to be the story for much of this week. Another hot and humid day. Let's head to St. John's, though, as we are looking forward to a big holiday there tomorrow. Good news there for us, Chris. Grab that sweater for the morning hours. By Friday, warming up, it's going to feel closer to 23 and it's going to feel closer to 40. Let's take a look at your next 7 days for St. John's. We are going to see that sunshine winds, the risk for seeing some active weather push in. Hey, we've been asking you online. We'd love to hear from you. It's the midway point of the summer, so what is your rating? Are you going to give it a thumbs up? You can head online and find us on Twitter. Thanks so much for that, Chris. We are watching out for some heavy rain throughout parts of the country for today. That risk for seeing those thunderstorms throughout the BC interior. We have that upper low, and that's where we get into that instability. Not a lot of rain, 1 to 3 millimeters is expected for most areas. And then a bit later on, we are watching out for some pop-up thunderstorms across southern and central portions of Alberta. Let's head to Calgary right now. We're fall, especially for northern Alberta. So not the best conditions there, where we did see localized flooding. Now that risk for active weather we have that greatest risk for seeing those thunderstorms, and then for southern portions of the province of Alberta. By tomorrow, that risk area does stretch towards the east. So for central and southern Manitoba, but also for southern portions of Saskatchewan. Now we could see some heavy rain, very strong winds, but there's also that risk for today in Alberta, southern portions, for seeing some supercell development. So we could see some large hail, fierce winds as well, something we're keeping a close eye on. If you're in Manitoba, the risk for you is going to start to really push in by tomorrow afternoon, but you've seen a lot of that active weather. 20 to 30 millimeters, some of that has already fallen, northwestern Ontario included. Let's head to Sioux Lookout right now. Just those winds, you can hear them. The heavy rain we've been dealing with even into this morning, especially to the northwest. Thunder Bay, you've seen a lot of that. That front starts to stretch up to the north and northwest, north of Kapuskasing, the northern shores of Superior. That's where we'll see that active weather really stay. For southern and central portions of the province, you're not really going to see any active weather today. In fact, lots of sunshine and temperatures are going to warm up. That warm front pushes in, heat and humidity increase as we head into the middle of this week. Temperatures are going to be into the 30s, feeling into the 40s, closer to 40 for some of you as we head into late week. And then we are watching out for that risk for thunderstorms as well. We'll break down that. But right now, your locals. Thanks for staying with us on this Tuesday. It's August 2nd. The summer seems to be going quite fast. Taking a look at the heat across the country, you'll find it in Ontario, 17 degrees there. Also cooler for St. John's at 16. Feeling a bit warmer as we head towards your Friday. Temperatures are going to feel into the low 20s for you a bit later on. This afternoon, Saskatoon, more like 28 with the humidity. Ottawa, well, it's going to feel closer to 34. Now, when we get the heat, did you realize that corn sweats? Here's Nathan Coleman. He explains. It's time for your Long Ranger to find out where we are going to see the heat this week. Well, we have a system that's sitting just south of the border. Along a warm front, that's going to track in all of the heat and humidity this week for the eastern prairies and for southern Ontario and eventually into southern Quebec, stretching east across Atlantic Canada a bit later on. But we are going to feel that warmth. More seasonal in the west if you're in BC. Well, we have this upper low today, so that's bringing us some instability there. But also, we do have that risk for thunderstorms right along that trough. If you're in Alberta, just along the foothills, we do have that risk for seeing some thunderstorms appear afternoon and even into the evening hours. We are going to see this start to swing towards the east, so rain will be heavy at times across southern portions of Saskatchewan into Manitoba. The risk for you really continues by tomorrow. So today, for instance, if you're in Winnipeg, sunshine. Tomorrow, that risk pushes in. Now, we have seen some thunderstorms in northwestern Ontario, a cold front that's sliding through. By the end of the week, that really starts to push through for southern portions.